Hello everyone, and welcome again to A Shortstop with a Shortstop. Today we're going to talk a little bit, how should a Christian think? There were a couple of times in my Major League Baseball career that the manager would come out to the mound and he would always be looking at the pitcher's body language or how his temperament was on the mound after he had given up a home run or maybe given up a base hit and a runner scored, or he might have walked one or two players. And there was one time that a manager of mine by the name of Dave Bristol came out to the mound after the pitcher had walked a couple of batters, and he walked out to the mound and all he said was, "After the game, can I have your hat?" And then he just walked off the mound. And I asked him later, I said, "Coach, what was that meeting about at the mound?" He said, "I just wanted to get his mind off of what he was doing at the time of the bad things and try to get it back into perspective and let him think about the good things that he could do." Sometimes we can get our minds going in one direction, but we need to have it going in another direction. And that's what the manager of our team was trying to do at that time. There was another time that a manager of mine by the name of Frank Robinson came out to the mound. We were in Shea Stadium in New York City, and the pitcher had just given up a home run. And you could tell that his body language was not good. And his name was Jim Barr. And he walked out and he had a big smile on his face, and he looked at Jim and he said, "Jim, your fly is open." And what do you think he's going to do with 50,000 people looking out there? First thing he does is put his hands down there and looks to see what's going on. And he looks, he said, "No, Skipper, my zipper zipped up." And Frank just walked off the mound just laughing. And he got his mind off of that home run, and after that he pitched really well. But sometimes our minds just need to get straightened out. We need to clear them and think about God, especially as a Christian. Sometimes I'll read a passage and I'll lay in bed at night and I'll think about, well, what did this person really go through? What was the conversations probably with his family or his wife or his kids after the situation happened? If we look in John chapter 18, we have a man by the name of Malchus. And he was with a bunch of men that were going to arrest Jesus Christ. And Judas was going to betray him with a kiss. And when they got there, they asked Jesus, "If you are Jesus of Nazarene." He said, "Yes, I'm the one you're looking for," basically is what he said. And they got ready to arrest him, and Peter jerks out his sword. And he cuts Malchus's ear off. In verse 10 of chapter 18 of the book of John, it says, "Simon Peter then, having a sword, drew it, and struck the high priest's slave, and cut off his right ear. And the slave's name was Malchus." Now, could you imagine what Malchus is thinking, seeing his ear laying down on the ground? But if I turn back to Luke chapter 22, verses 50 and 51, and it says this, "And one of them struck the slave of the high priest and cut off his ear. But Jesus answered and said, 'Stop, no more of this.' And he touched his ear and healed him." Now, can you imagine the conversation that Malcolm had when he went home? Maybe with his wife. She said, "Honey, what kind of a day did you have today?" And he said, "I had one of the craziest days you've ever seen." He said, "We go to arrest this man who thinks he's God. And when I get there, this guy behind him jerks out a sword and cuts my ear off." And I could just see his wife's face looking at him. He said, "Well, you got both of your ears on your head." And he said, "Well, this guy that says he's God, he touched my face and healed my ear. I got my ear back." And The wife said, probably, oh, what'd you do after that? We went ahead and arrested him, put him in jail. But what was Malchus actually thinking? He's got his ear cut off. He sees a miracle be performed, has his ear put back on, but yet he goes ahead and arrests Jesus. Sometimes things just go straight over top of our head. He should have been able to see that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. Sometimes we as Christians let a lot of things go over our heads. And Jesus puts it in writing for us in the book of the Bible, letting us know how we should think. We don't need a manager to come out and ask us if we can have our hat or tell us that our zipper's down. But Jesus says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. And that's all Jesus wants us to do, is to love him and do what he says in the Bible. And if we do that, our body language is going to be good, our thinking is going to be good. We're going to be ready to come and worship him and do all the things that he wants us to do. So New Testament Christians, I'm saying this to you. Let's get our thinking right. If you can remember the statement of Joshua, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And that's what we all need to do. Thank you again for being with a shortstop.